10% of European employees feel motivated at work, the number being 8% in the UK, compared to 33% of American employees. Unmotivated employees cost companies upwards of $450 billion annually. 44% of employees feel stressed out, with reducing productivity and costing German businesses €9 billion annually. Employees tend to work 20% better when they feel motivated by carrying out meaningful work. Employee engagement reduces absenteeism by 41% and increases productivity by 17%. Motivated employees are 87% less likely to resign, with every resignation costing employers an average of $5,000. Safe to say motivation is important for productivity. Interventions for low motivation or self-regulation issues focus on either changing the individual, such as training employees on how to monitor their performance, or the environment, which could include creating conducive working environment. The appropriateness of interventions is heavily dependent on the ability to match the interventions with the respective situational demands, especially considering personal attributes and the nature of work. The most common interventions to improving employee, or anyone's, motivation involve setting difficult or specific goals and monitoring performance to provide necessary feedback. The success of a goal-setting intervention is dependent on a person's commitment to the goal, a phenomenon determined by whether they value the goal and/or the related outcomes. Thus, enhancing motivation for a person or an employee encompasses implementing approaches to increase the value of the goal and its outcomes. These approaches include ensuring that outcomes are desirable for all the involved parties and outcomes consistently align with desirable behaviors. At the core of enhancing goal value is linking outcomes to personal needs or other more important goals for continuity. Some of the most important needs for employees in the work setting include autonomy, growth, security, and a sense of belonging. Linking goals to personal needs could be accomplished by changing reward systems, restructuring workflows, or changing outcome interpretation by altering the shared social information. The most popular strategy used in increasing the value of a goal entails linking it with rewards or recognition. Monetary rewards have commonly been used to inspire motivation, but their effects, just like those of many other extrinsic motivation strategies, are short-lived. Intrinsic motivation approaches are more long-term or sustainable, and they include recognition, accomplishment, achievement, and autonomy. Enhancing intrinsic rewards of a task is achieved by changing the work and its environment so that it effectively addresses employees' psychological needs. For example, increasing discretion satisfies employees' autonomy needs, increases the meaningfulness of goals and related tasks, and raises enjoyment in task execution and completion. Designing tasks to reduce monotony and increase complexity to a certain degree raises individuals' satisfaction after completion. In the workplace, changing the tasks associated with a job to make them more social increases the sense of belonging in an organization and raises commitment and satisfaction in the long term. Increasing valence by changing how managers and other top-level management professionals interact with employees enhances satisfaction. Valence refers to the general anticipated satisfaction, importance, attractiveness, or desirability associated with achieving a goal. For instance, increasing feedback and social support increases sense of belonging. Giving tasks meaningful rationale, acknowledging that monotonous tasks actually are monotonous, and emphasizing choice in activities raise individual autonomy and long-term intrinsic motivation. Realistically high confidence in an individual is a functional component of increasing commitment and effort. If an individual lacks the belief that they could complete a task or pursue a goal, they become less motivated to do so, which explains the relationship between confidence or self-efficacy and motivation. In the order of effectiveness, individuals' confidence can be increased through inactive mastery drawn from successfully completing a task, vicarious experience from watching others complete a task, verbal persuasion from repeatedly being assured, and altering psychological and emotional states by increasing positive effects. The experience gained from repeatedly doing a task significantly improves confidence by painting a clearer picture of the difficulty and complexity associated with the task. Self-efficacy has a direct relationship with the progression in the ease and simplicity of a task. Redesigning tasks to reduce complexity or to increase ease influences self-efficacy or confidence. However, increasing the ease of completing a task should not come at the expense of appropriate challenge levels, because that would reduce feelings of competence and negatively affect motivation. Verbal cues in encouraging performance delivery and the relevant feedback also increase motivation. While confidence is important for motivation and task completion, overconfidence may result in the selection of difficult goals that could result in failure. In the context of assigned goals, overconfidence could reduce the amount of effort put into finishing a task, thereby resulting in failure or poor performance. The approach to framing goals and the relevant tasks shapes self-regulatory process, with motivation being the most important. Framing goals assumes two different approaches, that is, avoiding the negatives or approaching the positives. Emphasizing learning and mastery, instead of performance, in framing tasks optimizes motivation. Similarly, presenting errors as learning opportunities instead of mistakes or incompetence markers improves learning, motivation, and performance. Matching a learning frame, such as errors as learning opportunities, with the related goals, which could be learning to correct one's errors, achieves desired motivation-related outcomes compared to aiming for higher performance. This phenomenon is based on the fact that combining the performance frame and the goal results in the two competing for performance. Thus, in the workplace, managers are required to examine how goals are framed owing to the relationship between framing and performance. Changing task description or instructions to assume positive or negative connotations informs the adoption of promotion or prevention focus in employees. Positive connotations include social acceptance, rewards, and gains, while negative connotations include social rejection, punishment, and loss. Focusing on ideal selves results in promotion focus, while ought selves induce prevention focus. Optimizing goal-thriving strategies combines tasks to improve value judgments. Matching eager strategies with promotion-focused strategies and vigilance with prevention focus raises value judgment compared to the outcomes of a mismatch between the two. Emphasizing what one has achieved raises motivation when commitment is low, while focusing on what is left increases motivation when commitment is high. Implementation intentions really help people initiate actions. Appropriate implementation intentions outline the conditions required for actions to be directed towards pursuing goals. The rationale behind implementation intentions is if-then statements that link behavior to environmental conditions. Individuals who adopt implementation intentions exhibit increased performance compared to those who don't, owing to improved self-regulation. Giving up on a goal or remaining persistent depends on the levels of control one has on the actions that lead up to the goal. The self-regulatory strategies that ensure cognitive resources remain focused on the task include emotional, motivational, and attentional control. Emotional control refers to strategies employed with the aim of dealing with negative emotions. People who are unable to control their emotions are constantly anxious, lack motivation, and assign limited cognitive resources to task completion. Emotional regulation techniques that could be used to achieve emotion control include situation selection, situation modification, attentional deployment, and cognitive change. Situation selection entails choosing environments that promote positive emotions, while situation modification entails changing situations to alter how they affect individual emotions. Attentional deployment encompasses becoming too involved with a task or goal achievement to reduce the likelihood of rumination or focusing on negative emotions and experiences. Cognitive change revolves around how one interprets situations, that is, glass half full and glass half empty, or threats versus opportunities. Poor motivational control skills are linked to minimally monitoring performance and sustaining effort. Motivational control focuses on strategies that strengthen or maintain the desire to perform an activity. The strategies include monitoring one's performance, setting immediate goals to maintain motivation, and thinking of the possible outcomes once the goal is attained. For instance, boredom or frustration could be dealt with by creating personal incentives, focusing on the benefits of possible outcomes, and framing tasks to become more challenging or interesting. 1 in 3 employees cite boredom as the main reason why they are quitting, with 3/4 of employees who quit reporting quitting their boss as opposed to their jobs. A common way of framing tasks to make them more interesting is assuming that one is in competition with others. Attentional control encompasses maintaining focus over sustained periods of time by minimizing or reducing intrusion of distracting thoughts. Mental focus, just like attention control, increases task enjoyment and performance. Approaches to building or maintaining attentional control include reducing or removing environmental distractions, removing temptations, and raising goal-shielding abilities. Stimulus control by removing distractions and task automation enhance self-regulation by reducing attentional demands and shielding goals better. Depleting self-regulatory resources explains a lot of the related problems, including issues with initiating action, resisting temptation, and persistence. This depletion is often linked to repeated use to the point that individuals lack the will to control their behavior. In this context, self-regulation is enhanced by increasing the strength of the related muscle and seeking opportunities to restore the depleted resources. Strengthening the self-regulatory muscle could be done by practicing self-control and engaging in regular physical exercise to let off some pressure and make the brain wander for a bit. 61% of employees choose healthy lifestyles owing to organizational health and wellness programs. In short, depleted resources could be restored by taking breaks and participating in relaxation activities, allowing for experience mastery, and enabling work disengagement. Two-thirds of employees who are motivated to stay in their current jobs attribute the motivation to the presence of employee motivational programs. Self-management training programs emphasize a combination of strategies that improve goal setting and striving. The programs promote techniques that help individuals structure their work environments and self-motivate to stabilize optimal performance. It is important for individuals to avoid environments and situations that induce unwanted behavior as well as regulate behavior without external feedback or reinforcement. If you are wondering how to do all this, here we go. Self-monitoring by observing one's behavior, self-evaluation by comparing feedback to aspiration levels, short-term and long-term goal setting, using written contracts to change behavior, and self-consequences, which is achieved through reinforcement or criticism. All these strategies focus on maintaining goal-directed behaviors and eliminating undesired ones.